Okay, na-live stream ko na naman ata siya. So, okay, na-live stream ko na naman ata siya. So, okay, na-live stream ko na naman ata siya. Okay, so I guess most ng nanonood sa atin is nasa YouTube and wala nang may try to go inside dito sa Zoom kasi I guess mas madali and mas mabilis manood sa YouTube. So anyway, I'm gonna start in 3 minutes siguro, guys. Hi guys, we're gonna start. So hello and kumusta? Welcome to our third episode of Career Chikahan. And I know a lot of you are looking forward to this dahil marami sa inyo ang kino-consider yung set of undergraduate courses na pag-uusapan natin today for pre-med. And I'm hoping that after our Chikahan today, madadagdagan ng perspective nyo as to why these courses are more than just good pre-med courses. Okay, so let me introduce our guest isa-isa. For biology, we have Miss Lexi Belen, whom I know from judo. So she's a judo varsity member from UST, where she finished her undergrad studies. So she is currently taking up master's degree in UST while working as a research assistant. So hi Lexi, welcome sa e-skul ng Bayan.
Hello, hi guys.
So another guest from the bio department is Mr. Kevin Tamayo, or should I say Doc Kevs. Okay, he graduated BS Bio from UP Visayas and finished Doctor of Medicine from UERN. So hello Pinsan at congratulations for finishing med school. At again, welcome sa e-skul ng Bayan. Okay?
Thank you. Hi guys.
To talk about chemistry naman as an undergraduate course, we have Miss Rosal Ocaña, graduated BS Chem from UP Diliman. So she's a licensed chemist and worked as a research associate for a year before proceeding to med school. So currently, tinatapos niya ang kanyang study sa FEU NRMF School of Medicine. So hi, Rose. Nakamute ka na naman.
Sorry.
Okay, we also have Mr. Steven Santiago. So he graduated from UP Diliman, where he's also finishing his master's degree while working as a lecturer in the same institute. So Steven is also a licensed chemist, and maliban sa pagiging guro sa UP, he also teaches in other platforms katulad ng Quipper. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's an online platform at Service Center for Chemistry Board exam takers. Aside from that, Steven does a number of volunteer works, mostly aiming to advance science education in the Philippines. So pag-uusapan natin, isa-isa yun mamaya. And welcome to our program, Sir Steven.
Hi guys, hello. Thank you.
And lastly, we have Miss Anne Reynoso, ang ating nag-iisang biochem represent. So she graduated BS Biochemistry from the University of Santo Tomas. Another fresh grad from med school. So she finished her Doctor of Medicine from the West Visayas State University Hospital and is currently an intern at the Chinese General Hospital in QC. So again, congrats then on your recent graduation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me po.
Okay, so to all our guests, welcome sa e-skul ng bayan. Okay? Career Chikahan. So, ngayon nakilala na natin ang ating mga guests at mas kikilalanin pa natin sila today as we'll listen to their kwentong estudyante. So, dahil si Aning nandito sa akin kanina, ikaw yung una kong tatanungin. Why did you take up biochemistry? So, pwede mo bang ikwento sa amin kung paano ka nag-decide which course to pursue?
Okay, so parang ano siya guys, nung nag-high school ako sa Science High School together with Shrai tsaka ni Rosel, parang na-incline ako to pursue parang something research related. So yung option ko talaga was chemistry. Pero at the same time, parang gusto ko din na parang kukuha ng parang pre-med course kasi I wanted to pursue also medicine. So yun yung conflict ko. Either research-oriented, which is to take chemistry, or to take yung pre-med course, which is bio. So sabi ko naman, since medyo parang hindi pa very, ano tawag nito? Parang hindi pa accepted masyado yung research sa family ko. So parang hindi sila masyadong gusto na mag-chem ako. So sabi ko, sige, let's have this parang middle ground na I'll take both, parang
A little bit of both, kumbaga.
A little bit of both worlds so that I would have the option in the end, kung gusto ko talaga i-pursue yung chemistry as an MS or industry work or medicine. So I chose biochemistry. Ayun.
So very common yun, no? Yung factor talaga ang ating mga magulang. How about you, Sir Steven? Sorry. How about you, Steven? Bakit chemistry? Kwento mo naman sa amin kung paano ka nag-decide.
Ayun, technically, no, kapag nagde-decide, or when yung nagde-decide ako before, generally interest ko na yung science. So I was really very interested in science. Yun talaga yung favorite subject ko before. But the funny thing, kaya ako nag-chemistry, is that it was my lowest grade when I was in high school. And then I kind of challenged myself, no? I took chemistry not because I wanted to prove na dapat mas mataas yung grade ko, but I think I still have so much to learn from the subject. And since then, I've been always in this pursuit of greater knowledge. And while doing chemistry, I think I also enjoyed it. I love learning from the subject as well. And ayun, I think naipasa ko naman siya and natapos ko naman yung course. Ayun.
Wow, na-amaze ako doon kasi ako personally, pareho tayo. Pinakamababa ako din ng chem of all the sciences. Yun yung hirap na hirap ako. And always ako anxious if I'm gonna, kaya ako actually nag-civil engineering kasi isa lang yung chem subject namin. So, wow, to challenge yourself ng ganon. That's amazing. So, how about you, Rosel? Ito, kung ako mababa ko yung chem, ito alam ko, mataas niya yung chem nung high school. So, bakit BS Chem?
Okay, so bakit BS Chem? Decided na talaga ako, magme-med ako. Pero, yun talaga yung mahirap finding a pre-med course. So, nung may nakausap akong parent ng high school friend ko na doctor, parang in-advise niya talaga sa akin na mas maganda yung laging may fallback ka. Parang sa Diliman, parang inclined na rin ako talaga to go into sciences. Kasi like Ann nga, sobrang influence talaga yung high school. So, ayun. So, sa sciences naman, parang yun nga, interested ako sa chem. Tapos, sabi nga nila maraming options yung chem pag graduate at saka may license. So yun, kaya ako napunta sa chemistry.
Okay, so yun usually, di ba, pinipili ko ano yung may license. Yung iba naman, ayaw dahil may license. How about you, Lexi? Bakit naman biology?
Bakit bio? First of all, kasi when I was in high school, parang meron na kaming specialization subject. So, napunta ako sa science group, which is more on studying science like physics, chemistry, ganyan. And then parang naisip ko when I graduated, parang sayang naman yung inaral ko about science pag di ko tinuloy for college. And then, actually, inclined to sports, di ba? So,
Yeah.
second choice ko yung bio, actually. First choice talaga is like physical therapy, ganon, and all. Pero I decided to take bio kasi I was not knowledgeable enough about other other courses when I was in high school. Like, parang hindi kami na-expose to a lot of courses. Ang alam ko lang siguro is psych, bio, medtech, ganun lang, for pre-med course. So, yun. Napunta sa bio.
I actually agree sa ganyan. Like, parang, yung tipong kung ano lang yung expose ka rin, yung very common na, always natin naririnig sa families natin. Mag-doktor ka, mag-engineering ka, ito. So, how about you, Kevs? Bakit naman biology?
Well, for me naman kasi, a few years back, I also wanted to pursue medicine na talaga. Like, since high school pa, since elementary pa, actually influence ng parents ko and ng tita ko na doctor as well.
Tita Mabel.
Yeah, Tita Mabel. So, ayun. So, the choices were narrowed down to what undergraduate course was well-suited as a pre-med course talaga. And hindi ko masyado actually siyang naisip kasi nga walang proper orientation nung high school. Actually, kahit walang formal talagang orientation kung ano yung mga specific courses, ano yung subjects doon, ano yung gagawin doon, and ano yung career options afterwards na maging available for you. So, parang ginaya ko lang talaga yung tita ko na who also took up BS Bio sa UP Los Baños and worked as a researcher, then pursued medicine afterwards. So, I guess yun yung reason why napili ko yung biology. So, kaya kudos sa'yo, Shrai, kasi nga, at least may opportunity na yung mga high school students to really know about what courses they would want to pursue. Kasi from our experience, makikita nila kung ano yung magsusuit sa kanila, sa interest nila.
Wow, thank you for that. Kasi actually, yun yung pinag-uusapan namin ni Rosel a few days ago na sabi na, may regrets ba tayo sa courses natin? Kasi nga, one, well, syempre we have this access online and siguro sa iba-ibang higher years, pero iba yung feeling na nakakatanong ka from actual graduates ng courses. Kasi a lot of these students would ask me, Ma'am, pag chem ba, magandang pre-med? Aba, malay ko, hindi naman ako nag-chem, hindi rin naman ako nag-med, o diba? So that's why naisip kong i-invite yung mga kaibigan ko and mga kaibigan ng mga kaibigan ko on this. And since ikaw na yung kausap ko dito ngayon, Kevin, follow-up question on this. Since biology grad ka, what is biology and ano yung subject areas na included sa curriculum?
Okay, biology kasi by its definition, strict definition is actually the study of life. So, encompassing siya of numerous subject matters. Meron kang botany, zoology, ecology, physiology, chemistry, physics, biostat, and a lot of their subsets talaga. So, basically, all-encompassing siya na undergraduate course.
So, can you specify certain subject areas na kasama sa curriculum ng biology just to give our audience an idea?
For example, sa botany kasi is study of plants. So, you study the morphoanatomy of plants, how they look like, or yung cell physiology ng plants, as well as yung taxonomy ng plants. So, basically, mga scientific names, classifications ng plants. For zoology, we do a lot of dissections of organisms. So from fish to sharks to cats to even frogs, of course, yung basic na ano. So those are a few of the major subjects of biology actually.
So, thank you, Kevs. May i-add ka ba dito, Lexi? Oh my, what happened to my internet? Ayun. Sorry, ayan. Lexi, may ma-add ka ba on what is biology and ano yung mga subject areas? Kaya din actually I invited guests from different schools para iba-ibang perspective din. So, ano yung mga subject areas na included sa curriculum niyo?
First of all, biology is, yung sabi, is the study of life. Pero I really want to emphasize na life is not just about humans. There's more to life than humans. So it's not really more about medicine. Then we also have other stuff like animals, plants, and all. And yung curriculum namin before, it's just general bio lang sa USE when I entered. So like, yun nga, encompassing what Sir Kevin said, a lot of major general biology subjects. Pero right now sa UST kasi parang they broke it down into 3 majors na para medyo specific na. So like they have industrial biology, which focuses on applications, techniques regarding bio, and then they also have medical biology, which is more inclined to medical field. And then lastly is the environmental biology, which is more on the ecological side of the biology. So, ayun, medyo swerte na nga yung ngayon, generation ngayon kasi they have more specific scope when it comes to bio.
Oh, kaya pala may mga students sa akin na nagtatanong, pwede po ba may guest from medical bio? Yung pala yung mga sinasabi nila kasi nagulat ako.
Yes.
May course pala na specific to medical bio. So at least I know now I can invite certain guests on that. Pero ayun, so correct nga, tama. Very lucky ng mga ngayon kasi if they want to take bio for pre-med, they can just pursue medical bio. And kapag gusto naman nila sa research, may other options din sila. So, sino pa ba?
Medical bio.
Kayo nalito. Okay. Rosel, ikaw naman, what is chemistry? And ano yung mga subject areas na included dito?
Okay, so chemistry, usually laging sinasabi nila essential science kasi parang binibridge niya yung physical sciences and life sciences. Pero siguro si Steph, mas mas ma-expand niya.
Pinasa na yung question, pangalawang tanong pa lang.
Literal. Tapos, so yun yung chemistry talaga. Kasi parang yung principles sa physics, tas application naman for bio.
Yeah.
Parang lagi siyang middle ground. Ayan. So, yung chemistry sa Diliman, meron siyang math series din, meron physics series din, and then, I think yun. And tapos yung chemistry, magugulat ka kasi ako for me, parang from high school, akala mo yung chem, yun na yun. Tapos magugulat ka pagdating ng chem, sobrang daming chem, like quantum chem, physical chem. As in, isa-isa yun pag-aaralan nyo. So parang yun yung shock ko na nagulat ako na, okay, ganito pala yung curriculum ng chem. So yun.
So yeah, thanks Rose. Alam ko ito, maraming masasabi si Steven about this. So, what is chemistry and ano yung mga subject areas na i-expect ng mga students pagdating sa BS Chemistry in UP Diliman?
Ayan, guys, thank you sa pagpasa ng tanong, Rose. De joke lang. Siyempre, at the beginning of each course, yan lagi yung tanong sa atin, no? Kung ano, as yan lagi yung task ng instructor to explain kung ano ba talaga yung subject matter niya. And of course, it is my right to defend our course, and chemistry is the central science. Basically, kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Miss Rose na parang it kind of bridges everything and kind of connects everything in a very orderly, in a very unique way. So you can see a lot of applications of chemistry in multiple fields. Kagaya na lang siguro later kapag nagtanong kung saan-saan ba pwede yung mga chemists in terms of jobs and in terms of functions or roles in the society. So you'll be able to identify how flexible it is. But technically in UP Diliman, we have the basic lineup of chemistry courses if you'll be taking BS Chem. So we have like 2 courses of general chemistry. We have multiple courses for organic, inorganic, physical and quantum chemistry at saka analytical chemistry. Tapos meron silang mga corresponding labs. So you'll be taking the corresponding labs. Kapag medyo advanced na yung year mo, you'll be taking integrated labs. So ito yung mga integrated labs, these are labs that are merged. Let's say we have a merge analytical inorganic or a merge physical inorganic lab. The biochemistry has also its own lab. Aside from the basic chemistry courses, we also have like yun nga, math series. So we have from algebra to trigonometry. We have two courses, I think, of um, elemental analysis, or this should be on calculus. Tapos meron din tayong, uh, actually sa BS Chem ngayon, meron silang bagong course which is Select Mathematical Methods for Chemistry. Kasi a lot of students are really afraid of chemistry because maraming ang math. But technically, we don't really need to use all of it. So the institute decided to actually have a course that's very specific for mathematical foundations na kailangan for chemistry. So this basically involved matrices, linear algebra as prerequisites to understanding, let's say, wave functions and Schrodinger's equation in quantum chemistry. We also have one course of basic principles of geology. Tapos we have a series of elementary physics from kinematics to classical theories of, let's say, electricity, magnetism, and light. Tapos ano pa ba mga basic courses? Of course, you have PEs, NSTPs, electives. Yan yung mga flexible courses na pwede niyong kuhanin. Tapos in some schools, I think the course is very flexible kasi I think sa LaSalle, they have chemistry and business mixed together. So meron silang major in chemistry but minor in business. This is very good for those who have businesses that are actually inclined, let's say, to production in chemistry, yes, and in science in general. So yun, you'll be experiencing a lot of science, math. That's something you can expect from the course, I think.
Oh, so wala nang mas ko-complete pa kesa sa sagot na yon. Hindi na ako makukulit ng mga estudyante kung may ganito ba ganyan. Kasi sagot na kompleto na yung pagkakasagot ni Steven. So thank you for that. And I'm so happy na, ayun nga, very detailed. At least magkakaroon talaga ng idea yung mga students kung ano yung pinapasok nila. And I'm glad actually ang daming ang, katulad ng sinabi mo, ang daming ang courses or departments in UP na considering yung nangyari sa, na nagkaroon ng K-12, nagkaroon talaga ng adjustments pagdating sa curriculum. So, ang ganda kasi nga, ayun, hindi naman sa magsasayang, pero kumbaga, yung mga subjects na hindi naman ganun nga kakailangan is na, ano bang term? Na nasi-specify kung ano lang yung kailangan ng mga students. So, lastly for biochem, Anne, what is biochem? And ang dami nagtatanong, so gaano po ba to ka-different from biology? Gaano to kaiba sa chemistry? So lahat po ba pag-aaralan ko? So Anne, what is biochemistry? And ano yung mga subject areas naman dito?
Okay, so yung biochemistry naman is yung parang, it's also a branch of chemistry actually which deals with yung parang more in-depth siya sa processes na involved, yung chemical processes that are involved in an organism. Example, yung mga metabolism na nangyayari sa katawan mo, it will explain to it in a cellular to a molecular level. So kung example like kung anong nangyayari sa katawan mo, kung paano mo na-digest, example yung milk, parang ganun. It has a clearer, parang more in-depth association to from chemistry to your body. So, parang ganun yun. It's an integration of that. Tapos, yung mga subjects naman, you have your basic parang analytical chem, physical chemistry din naman. Yung in-depth sa amin is yung organic chemistry since, yun nga, basically, yung katawan natin is made up of organic molecules. So, more of parang ini-integrate yung mga organic molecules to the body. So and also we have like specific biochemistry subjects wherein na pinag-uusapan yung enzymatic kinetics,
yes,
and yung metabolism, like yung mga Krebs cycle na yan. We have like a week or 2 weeks lecture na puro ganun lang, and parang mai-in-depth ka talaga kung ano yung mga glycolysis. So, when you go, like, sa akin, pumunta ako sa medicine, so, you have, like, a firmer grasp of kung anong nangyayari, kung anong pinag-aaralan mo sa medicine in terms of Krebs cycle, yung mga TCA cycle, glycolysis na ganyan. Because you've had an in-depth discussion on it nung biochemistry ka. So, if hindi ka mag-incline sa medicine, katulad ko, there are also options like sa industry, like yung biochemistry sa food. So, yung mga kaklase ko, like, they're into the food industry, they're into the beer industry. Kasi yung mga enzymes na yan, like, they get to apply yung pinag-aralan nila na enzymes and apply it to their jobs. And yun, and also there's like DNA. Parang may little touch of molecular bio din kasi yung biochemistry. So if gusto mo yung mga DNA or if you want to go to forensics, may DNA division na that can be allotted to you. So maraming options yung biochemistry. Yun.
So thanks, Anne. May follow-up question kasi tayo from our viewers for biology. Kevin, marami daw bang math? So sa UP na curriculum, marami bang math ang BS Bio? Ay, nakamute po. Hello?
Okay na?
Ayan, okay na. So marami bang math?
In BS Bio kasi sa UP Visayas, actually, basics lang. Merong algebra, tapos merong introduction to calculus, actually. And Math 11, Math 14, and Math 100 lang, actually. 3 mathematics na subjects, tapos merong biostatistics.
Okay, so yun yung mga math. How about sa inyo, Lexi? Kumusta ang dami ng math subjects natin?
For the math subjects, feel ko same lang din. We also have yung mga calculus, basic calculus, and then other subjects na related to bio talaga with solving and calculating is yung anachem. We also have that, and then biostat. Biostat na siguro yung pinaka madugong math for for bio.
Okay, so may follow-up question din kasi sa bio regarding sa curriculum. Meron ba kayong subjects na very focus on fieldworks, kumbaga?
Well, hello?
Sige.
Sorry.
Sige,
Go
go.
ahead.
Go.
Si Lexi na, kahiyaan pa.
Sige. Fieldworks, yung sa curriculum ngayon, which is yung medical, industrial, and environmental. Environmental is really focused on fieldworks and mga field trips and all. Industrial naman, siguro field trips, pero more on lab works kasi. And then medical, yun nga, more on mga laboratory works din. So, yeah.
Okay. So may i-add ka ba dun, Kevin? How about sa case nyo? Marami bang fieldworks? Actually, this also may follow-up question na what can we expect from this degree program? We know na yung mga courses natin today are courses na very heavy sa lab work. O kaya at least stereotype na, maraming lab work yan kasi science yan eh. That's bio, that's chem, that's biochem. So aside from laboratory work, ano pa yung maraming yung i-expect ng mga students from this? Paper writing to fieldwork, what else?
Actually, sa amin, meron kaming specific subject, yung field biology talaga. So, we actually, one summer, like summer ng third year, we went to Antique to assess yung mga communities dun, like yung mangrove communities, yung forest, and yung seagrass communities, among others. So, a lot of field work din talaga when it comes to third year na. Aside from the laboratory work, which is a lot talaga, kasi nga, you really need to see what you are reading in the books. So that can only be done when you do the laboratory work. So aside from that, a lot of lab reports, presentations, I guess mostly lab work talaga, and yung field biology lang talaga yung outside namin na application.
Application. So kumbaga may certain subject na focus on that. But more or less, the other subjects, lab work at lab work talaga.
Yes.
So, tama naman pa rin inisip namin lahat. Tama naman yung stereotype. So,
Yeah.
balik tayo dun kay Ann. Ikaw, sa biochem, marami ba yung lab work? May mga field works din ba kayo?
Madami kasi madami din kaming mga chemistry-related courses na subjects. So, mga analytical chemistry ng mga experiments or laboratory work, ginagawan talaga agad namin yun ng parang mga lab report. Tapos, since yung sa time natin na parang research-oriented yung biochemistry, so parang wala pang masyadong mga parang specialty na medical biochemistry. So,
Yes.
parang we're more focused on biochemistry as an academe industry. So, parang pinupush talaga yung research, yung publications. So, we were really trained to like have parang dissertation talaga. So, you can expect a lot of parang research work as in publications. Ayun.
Okay, thank you. So I guess nasagot mo talaga yung tanong ng ating sa mga audience natin. How about you, Rosal? Pagdating sa chemistry, ano pang i-expect ng mga students?
Aside sa sinabi ni Steph kanina, halos same kay Anne. Marami talagang reports. As in, every experiment. Minsan nga meron pang pre-lab Pre-lab and post-lab. Depende sa instructor mo. So, ayan. Post-lab, usually, halos individual na yung reports Paper writing talaga siya. And then, kung oral reports, hindi naman masyado. As in, writing talaga. Ganun ka ititrain ng BS Chem. Magsulat ng paper. I-explain yung experiment. Ayun, ganun.
Okay, so thank you. Now, Steven, I'm not gonna ask you now on that kasi in-expect na natin that chem is very ma-paper. Pero as a lecturer in college, siguro may mga napapansin ka na common thing pagdating sa mga estudyante. And I want to ask, ano usually ang challenge or struggle ng mga students? Lalo na let's say yung mga freshie or mga second year na nagsistart pa lang with the chem majors.
Ayun, siguro one big challenge na na-encounter ko while doing chemistry lectures, especially if the students are from a non-STEM background. Specifically now, since we have this
K-12
K-12 strands, yes, yun, thank you. Strands, nahihirapan sila technically to grasp science concepts, especially for introductory general chemistry courses. Mainly because I think they have not appreciated that course that much when they were in senior high school. I think as a lecturer, one big factor for me is that the student needs to appreciate it first before he or she can fully dwell or delve into it na wholeheartedly, yung wala bang hold back. Mainly because I think it's one job of the teacher or of the lecturer to be able to hook up your students and to be able to let them really sink in the field. You're on the same page, kumbaga. So what I'm trying to do in the first few weeks of my lecture is that I am actually trying to feel them, trying to sense how much do they really love or how much do they really hate the subject. And then along the way, I'm actually trying to let them give, let's say, science another chance by showing them how it really helps them in the future and how much do we benefit from it. Ayun. So I think that's one way to it's really good to interact with the students, and the students should also interact with the teachers.
Yeah, so actually yun yung follow-up question ko kasi yun nga sir, I see kung how passionate you are when it comes to teaching your children, your students, or kung paano mo sila ma-encourage to love yung chemistry as a course. Now my question is, paano naman for the future students? Like, sa mga senior high school students ngayon, ano yung mga skills siguro na kailangan lang i-develop? May it be classroom skill or outside sa classroom na skill para siguro maiwasan or to avoid yung mga drawbacks na gano'n or disadvantage?
This is a very complicated question, no? From one way to another because it's a case-to-case basis on to students. Like, there's so many factors that we need to consider in this case. Parang um uh maraming factors like influence of parents, of teachers, of friends, what study habits have you already um been doing, yung mga ganun. But I think no, if you're really passionate about a subject and you really want to pursue it sooner or later, you're on the right track eh. Um uh I I think one advice to the students, if ever you'll be taking any course no in the future, follow your heart, because the heart wants what it wants. Like, if a lot of students, marami kasi akong students, especially from those mixed classes, no, na yung mga hindi freshies,
Yes.
hindi second years na, they're non-majors, they're trying to shift from one course to the other. Then I'm asking them kung bakit, mainly because hindi daw nila nagustuhan yung subject, or hindi nila nagustuhan, let's say, yung approach ng subject na yon. And then I'm telling them na it's okay to feel that way, because there's literally first time for everything. And it's actually good that you have already known that you haven't loved that subject on that particular time, because you still have time to shift from one course to another. But of course, in a more practical way, we do want to avoid these kinds of delays. So as much as possible, we need to understand what we do like, and what we are passionate about. It's not really something very specific at first. Like for example, I think that this is the advantage of taking strands in K to 12, kasi you'll be exposed to different multitudes or facets, let's say, of education. So it's not really be very specific at first. So it's something as a domain, and then it's easier to shift from the subdomains, from one subdomain to another subdomain as you go through, as long as you really like the big domain. Ayun.
So sir, follow up lang din dyan kasi marami ring concern would be yung mga lalo na kunwari nasa ibang strand ka nga.
Mhm.
And just like what you said, for example, nasa STEM strand na sila and,
Mhm.
nasa humanities na strand sila and
Mhm.
after that, they're considering courses na nasa related to STEM.
Mhm.
Do you think mahirap ba? Well, syempre, nandun yung mahirap na part, but rather, kaya ba, kumbaga? Kasi a lot of the students would ask, paano po yan, ma'am? I'm humanities strand
Mhm.
in high school and I'm considering chem, I'm considering bio.
Mhm.
Ano yung mapapayo mo or let's say, ano kaya yung magiging adjustment nila?
Ayun. I think for non-STEM students who really wanted to take STEM courses in college, they're not really left behind by such a big gap, mainly because the curriculum of DepEd is designed in such a way that they still have exposure to other sciences, albeit kahit na maliit lang yung exposure. If I'm not mistaken, for non-STEM students, they are still required to take like physical sciences and earth and life sciences, which mainly covers a bit of chemistry and physics and biology and earth science. Although hindi siya ganoon let's say, ka-detailed compared to those STEM students who will take, let's say, General Chemistry 1, General Chemistry 2, Gen Physics 1, 2, etc., etc. It still gives them, let's say, an overview of what is expected no, to learn in college. Mainly, especially in the first few semesters of the college, it's still the introductory chemistry. And in one way or another, lecturers in the tertiary level should also understand that there are students that are really not from the STEM background. And then they will try to adjust lectures to meet learning outcomes or objectives. So I think there will be no problem if the student is really passionate about learning really into science, because that's the role of the introductory courses, by the way. The introduction to general chemistry, for example, is to bridge, let's say, the gap whenever there are for STEM and non-STEM students. No, I think there will always be a will if you really love learning or doing something. So, and it's actually very exciting, no, to pull or to actually convince a lot of non-science majors um, before tapos they will proceed, let's say, to STEM courses in college, mainly because yun naging eye opener sa kanila nung nagtitake sila ng science courses before.
Okay, so, ayan, I'm glad na na-discuss mo yan, sir, kasi a lot of students will always ask about yung mga sa strands ng high school. And as someone na hindi naka-experience ng K to 12 and most of my friends din, syempre, mga kaidaran ko lang rin. So, hindi rin naka-experience ng mga different strands ng high school. So, hindi ko rin masagot when they ask questions like, paano ba to kasi ganito ako. So, it's nice na we have a lecturer here in college na makikita din namin yung perspective niyo pagdating nga dito. Kasi, yun, marami talagang concern na ganito kasi, syempre, yung mga high school students na to, nag-decide mag-STEM, pero hindi naman din sure kung ano yung course na kukunin sa college. So that's really helpful. Going back sa biology, I have a question for Miss Lexi. Are you familiar with microbio as a course sa UST? And may questions sa yung viewers natin na how is bio different from microbio? Aside from the obvious part na pag microbio, maliliit na life forms, tama ba? How is microbio different from biology?
Actually, nung curriculum namin before, microbio is different from a bio course. So basically, microbio, they focus more on, again nga, yung smaller organisms. And then very in-depth yung kanilang studies when it comes to bacteria, culturing, and everything. Mga techniques din. Actually, they're into, advancements. So from time to time, more innovation. So they apply it to the curriculum nowadays. As compared to bio, which is more on the higher life forms naman. And then with the environment, ecological tracks, ganon.
So sa
subjects
niyo ba na meron din kayong microbio subjects or at least part of the curriculum?
Sa curriculum namin sa bio before, we also had microbio, pero we parang lang siya, general scope lang siya. Superficial scope as compared to the microbio subjects talaga, course talaga.
Okay, so follow-up question ni Red, since I'm talking to you right now. Sa mga subject areas ng biology, ano yung naging challenging for you? Or yung tipong subject na struggle is real and you just wanted to be over. And at the same time, ano naman yung interesting for you? So let's start with anong na-challenge ka?
Struggle.
Yes.
Not really a fan of chem kasi talaga. Like Anachem is, my God, yung computations for Anachem is really, isang mali mo lang, parang back to start ka ulit and all. Pero bio subjects, maybe cell and molecular biology. Kasi they have, from time to time, yun nga, ang bilis magkaroon ng innovations when it comes to molecular biology. Kaya kailangan you have to keep up with the trends nowadays. Mm-hmm. So, research ka talaga ng research. You have to be in line with what is being done in today. Like parang kailangan, siguro from time to time, nasa Google Scholar ka. when we talk about cell and molecular biology. Tapos yung most interesting naman ba?
Yes, ano yung nag-enjoy ka na subject kumbaga? Something you look forward?
Ecology talaga. Kaya nga nasaan ako ngayon eh. Like environmental Chikahan. Yeah. Kasi you'll be exploring a lot of places, discovering a lot of other life organisms, and marami pang there's more talaga.
Yes, sobrang dami pang kailangan malaman pagdating sa mga subject areas na ito. Okay, thank you. How about you, Kevs? Ano yung na-challenge ka sa curriculum or sa subject areas ng BS Bio?
Well, for me din actually, chemistry din. Yung inorganic chemistry or yung analytical chemistry is, although even though I love math naman, yes, pero sobrang technical talaga kasi ng inorganic chem. So, doon ako nahirapan. Yung naman, also actually botany, kasi it's just too much to take in one semester, yung botany namin na subject. So, a lot to memorize din kasi, so ganun. And yung nag-spark ng interest ko sa biology is, I guess, zoology. Kasi more on first-hand or hands-on ako kasi na learner. So, mas na-digest ko siya kung nakikita ko siya and of course, na-dissect ko siya. So, that's why rin one of the considerations na nag-med ako kasi nga I love zoology din at the same time. So, anatomy of the person and among others, yung physiology and the molecular biology of the person din as well.
So, hindi lang pala dissect in a sense na to understand the lesson, but to really dissect yung nasa harap mo. Literal pala. Okay, so, next, baka kasi hindi nyo naging teacher si Sir Steven, kaya ayaw nyo sa Anachem. Anyway, Sir Steven, ikaw naman, ano yung subject sa chem noon na pinaka na-challenge ka?
Actually, no, marami talagang tao yung may ayaw sa chem. Mainly because una, nasa loob ka lang daw ng lab. You're very confined in the laboratory. Pangalawa, it's not for fashionistas. A lot of my students are actually not, hindi sila pwedeng magsuot ng palda. Like, they need to be in proper PPE like pants, clothes, shoes. Bawal silang mag-makeup, bawal silang mag-nail polish or cutics because of reaction stuff. Pangatlo, I think it's a test for resilience and patience, no? Especially inside the laboratory during waiting times, when you're trying to wait for results or you're experiencing a lot of failures in your experiment. Bawal ka din kumain sa loob ng lab. So these practices are really good for those who are in diet, kung ayaw mo talagang kumain or gusto mo mapilitan na hindi kumain. Merong konting workout sa loob ng lab, mga pagpapipet, ganun. So, lalaki yung muscles ng kamay mo, ng daliri mo, pagtatitrate, pagbibix. But I think, ang gusto ko lang sa chem in general is that you'll never be alone. You'll always be having your lab partner. Like, di ba, lagi kayong mag-work in pairs, ganun.
Yes.
And in terms of the subjects na pinaka-gusto ko, it highly depends on the interest of one person, no? Kung ano talaga yung magiging subject na mas magiging paborito mo. And kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, there's a lot of factors, no, na pwedeng mag-involve dito, and it's not just your interests solely to the subject, but also a lot of external factors. So I understand how different students, let's say going into a class, they ask how does the professor teach the class, so that they can also adjust their learning habits as well. Kasi marami din tayong iba-iba tayo ng way kung paano tayo natututo, at iba-iba ding way kung paano nagtuturo yung lecturers. So there's a compatibility between the learning mode and the delivery mode in terms of learning and instruction. For me, I think my most favorite chemistry subject before is biochemistry. So kasi it's I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and biochemistry has actually explained a lot of reasons or a lot of phenomena that I'm actually amused with. Kung ano ba yung mga nangyayari sa loob ng katawan, ano yung nangyayari sa environment, ano yung nangyayari, let's say, sa isang organism. My second most favorite subject would be physical chemistry, mainly because it accompanies biochemistry in one way or another. How do temperature changes affect a certain phenomena? How do pressure changes or volume changes affect a certain reaction? And it kind of helped me explain a lot of physical phenomena in a much simpler way. So, mas nakaka-relate ako doon. In terms of the most challenging subject, I think una would be quantum chemistry, because it's very theoretical. It's something that we don't see. It's something that you need to be very imaginative with to be able to fully grasp the concept. And organic in a sense na yun nga, hindi mo naman nakikita yung mga reactants na nag-react sila. You just expect the products to be this way. And sometimes the products are, let's say, not 100% pure of all the times. May mga side reactions. So you don't really have wala kang control, no? Wala kang, hindi mo talaga sila nako-control. Ayun.
So sobrang natawa lang ako doon sa comment mo about hindi pang fashionista ang chem na course. And ako, isa rin yung chem na subject na tinake ko. And I must say sa weather sa Pilipinas, napakahirap magpantalon. So, nasa UP ka pa, naglalakad ka. So, medyo natatawa ako sa akin noon kasi kasi nga, di ba, nagjujudo ako. So, I would actually bring my trousers, yung trousers namin sa judo, kasi normally, naka-shorts and t-shirt lang ako. So, para hindi ako syempre mapagalitan and para makapasok ako sa class, papatong ko na lang yung trousers ko na ginamit. Minsan, gamit ko pa from training. Pero ayun nga, very correct. Sobrang frustrating minsan. Noon at yung part na hindi ka makakain. Nako, lumalabas pa ako ng classroom para dyan. How about you, Rosel? Ano for you yung pinaka-challenging na subject or subject area pagdating sa chemistry?
So for chem, katulad ni Steph, struggle ko talaga yung organic chem. Sobrang hirap niya. As in, for me kasi nahirapan ako imagine kung anong nangyayari sa mga like, anong expected product ng certain reactions. Tapos kailangan mo pang imaginein kung asan ba yung ganitong elements sa compound din. Sobrang nahirapan ako doon. Tapos, actually, yung medyo gusto ko, yung ayaw nila, analytical chem. Hindi ko alam, medyo gusto ko rin kasi talaga yung math and computation. Tapos medyo nag-enjoy ako sa analytical chem. So, siguro yun yung favorite subject ko sa chem. Tapos, nag-spark naman ng interest for me is quantum chem. Kasi parang nagulat ako na may ganong field may ganong subject sa chem, which is parang incorporate yung quantum mechanics. So, parang medyo physics, tapos parang chem. Ayun, yun yung parang interesting for me.
Ayun. So, yung mga ayaw natin, yan talaga yung gusto ni Rosel. Kaya nga nung high school, bakit mo ba gustong-gusto yung chem? Ayaw na ayaw ko sa chem. At syempre, yung combi ng dalawa nating courses na to, biochem, what do you like, ano yung pinaka-ayaw mo pagdating sa biochemistry? Or kung hindi naman pinaka-ayaw, yung na-challenge ka?
Okay, so as a biochemistry major, hirap talaga ako sa organic chem. Like, it's supposed to be your stable foundation when it comes to understanding yung mga biomolecules, yung mga enzymatic reactions, ganyan. And ironically, yun talaga yung nahihirapan ako ever since. Tapos yun, i-share ko lang na nung nag-med ako, akala ko makaka-escape ako, pero apparently, like, biochemistry explains almost everything sa medicine. So, parang, akala ko makaka-escape na ako, parang ganun. So, parang hirap pa rin ako sa organic chem. And hanggang ngayon, it's still a struggle for me kasi yun talaga yung parang solid found. You have to understand yung mga chemical reactions na involved in order to have this in-depth understanding and integration sa biochem. So, actually, pareho kami ni Rosel na yung gusto namin is yung more of computational and yung parang analytical, galing from a science high school, parang you're more well-versed into computations and yung mga formulations. So, mas nagustuhan ko talaga nung college ko yung analytical chem and physical chemistry. And gusto ko talaga yung mga parang everyday na nagla-laboratory work kayo. Tapos yun, yung sabi ni Sir Steve na parang yung patients mo na naghihintay ng mga reactions na to work or to not work. Tapos yung gusto ko kasi dun sa analytical chem tsaka sa physical chemistry, you can troubleshoot. Like, you will learn how to troubleshoot if something goes wrong sa experiment. It's either you go back to square one or you have to learn how to make the most out of it while it's there. So parang it gives you a lot of critical thinking. So parang for me, yun yung mas naging gusto ko in a way. Pero as a biochemistry major na nag-medicine, medyo hanggang ngayon, yun nga, struggle pa rin. And so ngayon, like when I study for medicine or medical examination board, so doon ako nag-focus sa biochemistry because I know it's something that's essential and it explains everything on a molecular and cellular understanding. So, ayun, kahit struggle ako nun sa org chem, I have to like step up.
Step up, yes. So, this is an unrelated question, but this is my next question. Kasi most ng students natin concerned with the practical side ng pag-enroll sa college. And coming from a private school, would you consider yung not microbio, yung biochem as magastos na course, especially for low to middle income na earning families?
Ayun, frankly, yes. Like, magastos talaga, especially if sa UST. Marami, parang medyo undistributed kasi yung units allotted per year. So, for me, malaki yung bulk ng cost nung third year. Aside sa malaki yung gastos, maraming requirements kasi dun yung mga mabibigat na mga subject courses. So, ayun, magastos talaga siya. And also, like, there are other institutions wherein na nag-o-offer ng biochemistry. Like, alam ko UP Manila nag-o-offer ng biochemistry with the more like parang toned down na the cost. So, ayun, if they're really into biochemistry as their passion and as a pre-med course din, they have a lot of options din naman. And siguro may scholarships naman na nag-o-offer. Like the OST yun, covered yun sa, covered yung biochemistries under ng DOST. So they could apply for that.
Okay, thanks Anne for that. Same question for Miss Lexi. Would you consider yung bio as an expensive course? Magastos ba ang bio?
If you compare it to other courses kasi, like yung mga medtech and kasi they have mga equipments, diba? They have to buy yung mga kits nila and all. Bio kasi dissecting kit lang and yung books din mahal siya. Pero if you really compare to other courses, hindi naman siya ganun ka-expensive as other courses. And I cannot say much about that tuition and all kasi scholarship kasi.
Scholar from, yes. So,
yeah.
Tama ba yung pagkakaintindi ko na when it comes to bio, meron nga kayo binibili, but it's something na nabibili nyo from the start, like what you said, dissecting kit, na nagagamit nyo throughout college?
Until the end.
Okay,
Depende na lang kung nawawala or nasisira. Lalo na pag nagda-dissect ka ng mga animals na sobrang hirap buksan, na ako feel ko kailangan mo ng madaming set ng scalpel and all. Yun. So, and ano yun pala, gastos din is yung mga ginagamit for experiments, laboratory works.
Yung mga usual like gloves, ganon, yun ba yung mga usual na pagdating? Okay, so relatively not as expensive as other courses, pero yun nga, meron pa rin mga usual na lab expenses talaga. Kevs, is that the same pagdating sa UPV? Kumusta ang gastos as a bio student?
Well, same with Lexi actually na dissecting kit, the basics, and yung mga paraphernalia like yung mga gloves and all that. Pero kasi since UPV Science is a state university, so lesser yung gasto talaga doon. Plus if you have a scholarship din as well, I think the UST is also applicable for biology. So makamura ka talaga doon when it comes to tuition and other fees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if I may add, okay lang ba?
Yes, of course.
Siguro yung bulk ng expenses mo is for the thesis part lang siguro.
Yun yung medyo
yun talaga yung mabigat. Which is a fourth year pa naman. So, ipon-ipon ka na starting college. First year ka pa lang. Pero ipon ka na.
Pero common din ba yung thesis grants sa UST?
Yeah. Lalo na if advisor mo is like a funded, may funded projects, ganon. Yeah. Swerte ka pag na-under ka sa isang advisor with projects.
So tip din yun guys, kumuha ng thesis na umbrella project.
Yeah.
ng mga research advices. How about pagdating sa chemistry, Rose? Ikaw na lang siguro sumagot for chem na magastos ba ang chem as a course?
Hindi. Kasi, yung masasabi ko lang is a chem. I mean, chem sa UP Diliman. Kasi usually reagents and everything naman is provided by the school eh. Siguro yung mga katulad lang ng gloves, mask, ganun. Pero others talaga nasa school na. And like you said nga sa thesis, most PhDs advisors have funding din eh.
Mm-mm.
So, hindi ganun kagastos. Siguro with the printing and for the reports lang mga ganun. Pero generally, minimal.
Minimal lang din naman. I guess siguro natatanong lang ito ng mga students kasi most sa kanila gusto talaga ng pre-med courses and then ito yung mga malaboratory. So, syempre, pag sinabi mong laboratory, naisip na rin yung follow-up na magastos. Kaya, so na, pag-usapan naman natin yung courses na to as pre-med courses. Okay? So, Rosal, what makes BS Chemistry a good pre-med course?
What makes BS Chem a good pre-med course? Actually, siguro kung pag-uusapan natin yung chem lang talaga, na as in yung chem subjects, ganyan, medyo halos walang help eh. Kung pag-uusapan yung subjects lang. Kasi kahit yung biochem, nag-biochem ka ng undergrad, tapos biochem ng med, iba yung approach eh. Iba yung approach ng med school sa biochem. Especially yung nagtuturo sa med school is doctors of medicine. Yung nagtuturo naman ng biochem sa undergrad are chemists talaga. Iba yung approach. Tapos, so medyo pag ganung usapan na chem subjects, halos wala. Pero siguro masasabi kong good pre-med course siya. Siguro kasi na-develop sa student yung sanay ka na gumawa ng reports, yung academic load mataas. So parang hindi ka ganun ka masashock pagdating ng med school na aral, ganyan. So siguro more on the attitude ng student yung natulong sa akin ng chem. Aside sa meron kang other fields pang pwedeng puntahan.
Ayun. So, paano naman yung BS Bio as a pre-med course, Kev? What makes BS Bio a good pre-med course?
Well, yung bio kasi sa UPV, more on research-based talaga siya. So, in medicine din kasi, marami din, well, not a lot, pero may research din na component yung medicine. I guess then, same with Rosel, na yung attitude and yung academic load din kasi sa bio is a lot din, which would really parang train you sa load, which is like 10 times more sa med school. So, dun mo ma-develop kumbaga yung as well as yung pagsulat ng mga reports and I guess sa mga basics naman like yung physiology, biochemistry and a bit of anatomy since counterpart niya sa bio is zoology.
Yes.
Familiar ka na sa concepts kumbaga. Although kumbaga when you go into med school talaga equal footing kayo lahat kahit saan pa man kayong galing courses. I guess it would really give you parang preparation when it comes to clinical kung galing ka sa nursing or sa medtech. Helpful siya sa mga certain subjects. Yun nga, for the basics naman, helpful naman yung biology. Pero when it comes to med talaga, equal footing kayo lahat.
Very recurring lang naman yung point ng ating guest always, even from my previous na episodes, that pagdating nga naman sa med school, pantay-pantay na kayo. Siguro there are a few advantages but you can't really say na, magaling na ako sa med kasi galing ako dito. After all, pumunta dyan para mag-aral ulit. So, may ma-add ka ba dun? Ay, sorry, hindi pala ma-add. How about biochem as a pre-med course, Anne? How is biochem as a pre-med course?
Ayun. So, as a pre-med course, you have this, parang may grasp ka na of mga biomolecules and how they function sa body. And yun nga, yung masasabi ko na yung mga enzymatic reactions na nakikita mo sa biochem, ay maa-apply mo din kasi sa medicine. Pero yun nga, iba kasi yung approach din namin is more of research/academe talaga. So, nung hinone kami dun sa biochemistry, parang parang innovative industrial pharmaceutical. So, nung pumunta na ako sa medicine, parang iba kasi I'm used ako sa mga nakikita yung mga chemical reactions, ganyan, na parang medyo intangible kumbaga. Tapos I have to apply it to a person who is like human being talaga. And kasi pag biochem, parang hindi ka natatakot na parang mamamatay yung pasyente, parang ganyan. Like, parang ganun. So, hindi, parang it's all theoretical, kumbaga. Pero pag dating kasi ng medicine, it's more like higher level na talaga. So, but it gives you a strong foundation in terms of concepts. Like, yung mga, yun, enzymatic reactions, metabolism. So, it gives you a grasp. Like, kung makikita mo glycolysis cycle, TCA cycle, makikita mo siya sa medicine, parang, okay,
Yun pala yun.
napagdaanan ko na to. Oo, yun pala yun. So, yun, pagdating kasi sa medicine, yun nga, doctors of medicine na yung nagde-discuss ng biochemistry. So, parang, iba yung approach. It's more for people, like human, ganun. So, iba. Iba na siya.
Okay. Thank you, Anne. So, I guess, very paulit-ulit kasi yung natanong ng mga students, ano po ba yung magandang pre-med? Ano po ba yung magandang pre-med? Without realizing na yung mga courses na to, actually, like chemistry, biology, and biochem, are courses na inclined talaga into research, into development, and academe. So, parang, sabi ko nga, hindi ko alam if ganito lang yung idea ko because I have a lot of friends in med school na these courses, although sikat as pre-med courses, are actually courses na pang research talaga, pang academe. Kaya nga kumbaga, kahit naman yung mga previous na guests would always say na these courses, yes, will help you, pero iba pa rin talaga pagdating sa med school. Iba pa rin yung approach, iba yung perspective kasi the teachers or doctors not necessarily na nag-major in biochem before, nag-major in ganito before. So, iba talaga yung perspective. So, now let's talk about yung mga job opportunities for these courses. Sir Steven, ano yung mga job opportunities for a chem graduate? In demand ba sa Philippines ang mga chem graduates and saan-saan sila pwede pumunta?
Alright. Sa chemistry, the jobs for chemists are highly flexible, no? Especially in terms of personalities, kapag introvert ka, you have a job for you. Pag extrovert ka, outgoing ka, they also have a job for you. So, let me just say a few of these job opportunities, no? Well, basically, kagaya ng sinabi nyo kanina, chemistry is also a good pre-med as well as a pre-law. Pwede rin siya for law. We can connect this to people who are in forensic chemistry, right? So those yung mga nasa PNP, they're working in the crime lab as forensic scientists. We also have chemists of all sorts in different backgrounds. So we have analytical chemists, biochemists, depende sa industry, quality assurance chemists, chemists for hazardous wastes, water chemists. We also have environmental chemists. And the government really needs a lot of chemists. No? Marami tayong mga government agencies na nag-rely sa analysis ng mga chemists like DOST, Mines and Geosciences Bureau, and DNR. So, ayun. Meron ding yung mga chemists, they also have an option to take chemical technicians licensure examination. And they will be accredited chemical technicians, which mostly do the prep work. So sila yung mga nagprepare ng chemicals, let's say in the academe or in the industry. You also can do sales-related or science-related businesses as a chemist. So meron tayong mga entrepreneurial chemists na naggagawa ng small businesses in the side. For example, they have businesses in soap and perfume making. They have businesses in paint industry. They also have businesses, let's say, in food or in water, in sanitation. Even Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP needs chemistry graduates for checking the quality of money. We also have researchers in industry, let's say in San Miguel, in universities. Tapos yung mga big companies na yan, they have chemists, let's say in the R&D, so sila yung nag-research and develop ng materials. Merong mga chemists in the quality assurance, so sila yung nag-check kung tama ba yung napoproduce nilang product in the production batch. Tapos may mga chemistry sa sales. So sila yung mga nagbebenta kasi hindi mo naman pwedeng ibenta yung something na hindi mo alam. So it's an advantage if you really have the chemistry background for them. Um, we also have chemists in the academe. So kagaya ko, I was in the academe and in the education sector. So I actually focus in the education technology as of the moment. So kami yung nag-ensure kung gaano ka-accurate yung information, let's say in textbooks, in modules, paano napapasa yung information, let's say from research to learning or to learning institutions. For those who are asking as well, no, kapag nag-chem ka, you can also extend your course to chemical engineering if you really want to be a chemical engineer. So, maraming pwedeng pathway eh. You can be an engineer, you can take both the chemistry licensure exam and the chemical engineering licensure exam to be both a chemist and a chemical engineer registered. You can also take the licensure exam for teachers provided you get enough units in education. So marami ka pa ding pwedeng gawin after becoming a chemist in a very few time needed. So parang konti na lang yung kailangan mong i-invest after being a chemist. In terms of how we really are, in terms of the demand in the industry, I can say that chemists are really indispensable. Ibig sabihin, hindi talaga kami madaling palitan in the industry. Mainly because if you look at the statistics no in TRC, tas sino-sino yung mga nagbo-board exam, only around 457 out of 1,085 yung nakapasa last time in the whole country. So that's just barely around 500 chemists in the country in 2020 na nadagdag. So ganun lang kakonti yung mga chemists and company really know that they are really crucial and essential in major points or in major operations that they have. So, yun.
Nakamute pala ako. So, ang dami kasi yan yung concern na I'm considering BS Chem, pero hindi naman po ako sure kung magme-med school ako, sinasuggest lang. So, ayan, makikita nyo guys na sobrang daming opportunities outside med school or outside proceeding to be a doctor, and maliban din sa research and academe na alam natin yun lang yung usual na common alam natin. Ano pa ba yung unang sagot? Research. You can go to academe. So it's more than that. Ang daming industries na kailangan ang chemists. Okay, not necessarily na chemical company or what, kahit yung mga food companies, they require chemists. So as you can see, very madaming opportunities for you guys who are considering to take BS Chemistry for undergrad. May dadagdag ka ba, Rosel?
Wala na po. Sinabi
Wala na po. Recitation. Wala. Okay, you may sit down. How about pagdating naman sa biology? Lexi, ano yung mga opportunities ng mga BS Bio graduates?
So, ayun nga, aside from academe, which is the usual stereotype, med and academe lang naman talaga yung common sa mga kabataan ngayon. We also have research talaga. Like, although it's in the academes then mostly here in the Philippines, research is very widely used, lalo na yung mga basic research and applied research. Pag basic research kasi, you deal with like from the bottom talaga, from the very start, as compared to the applied research, which is yung mga kailangan right now, yung mga for the COVID testing and ganon. Kailangan rin yung mga biologists, and kahit chemistry, microbiology, they are in need right now for that. Tapos, I just want to add we also have DENR, which has a lot of departments, diba, when it comes to like, we have mines, we have the water, we have the land, a lot of aspects to talk about. And then, meron din tayong National Museum, mostly government agencies. Pero one thing is, you really don't need to undermine government agencies kasi they actually offer good compensation and benefits then if ever if you want to compare it to the medical field. And ano pa ba? More on conservation with animals. A lot of non-government organizations also need biologists on their team. Like for me, I'm working as a research assistant sa CHED funded project, which is like parang what do we do there is we test zooplankton components for the fishes, and then we discover kung ano ba talagang cause ng mga fish kills, ganon. So minor component. That is just one component of the lake. Marami ka nang may tutulong with like certain issues like the fish kills. Tapos pwede din tayo sa lawmaking policies, or like I know one biologist is working in Asian Development Bank. Imagine mo, that is a funding funding agency. They are the ones who give funds, and then biologists are there to regulate or like to see the overview of the projects na kailangan i-fund, ganun. So yun, madami talaga.
Well, nagulat ako actually doon. Pero nga naman, now thinking about it, you need parang experts in those field to assess which projects are okay.
Yeah.
Diba? So, ang dami ring application. And I agree with you na ang daming opportunities pagdating sa government. Lalo sa mga government projects natin sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas. Kevin, may ma-add ka ba dito on job opportunities pagdating sa biologists? Nakamute. Ay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, ayan.
Actually, I think Lexi covered a lot naman. Actually, may mga nasabi nga siyang nagulat din ako na pwede pala yun.
Di ba, minsan yun nga, sabi ko, I honestly enjoy these talks kasi ako mismo parang,
I'm learning din.
Oo, ang daming courses na hindi ko kinonsider before, but going into college,
Yeah.
ang dami mong mamimit and marirealize na ang daming underrated courses.
That's true.
Yeah, di ba? So
Yeah.
now for biochem, and I know hindi ka, nag-proceed ka agad sa med school, but I know then that as a biochem graduate, alam mo ang research at ang important ng research. So I know you did your research and ask your colleagues pagdating dito. So share mo naman sa amin kung ano yung mga napag-usapan mo ng colleagues. So what are the opportunities pagdating for biochem graduates?
Ayun. So, ang dami kong natanong actually. Kasi parang they all had this parang common ground na parang it's either dapat mag-MS ka or mag-RCH ka or MD. Yung sa opportunities namin without the license, mahihirapan kaming maghanap ng job opportunities na as a biochemist lang talaga. So, what my college classmates would do is kukuha sila ng mag-RA sila, tapos at the same time mag-MS. So, yun yung usually yung parang isang option nila. So, MS, while working under parang yung professor na PhD. So more of academe and research yung aspect na yun. For the RCH, yun yung talaga yung ini-encourage talaga ng mga kaklase ko if they would want to pursue biochemistry pa rin pero work sa industry. Sabi nila you have to take either Chemtech, chemical technology na course, na licensure exam, or yung RCH talaga. So, pag nakuha mo yun, basically kung anong ginagawa ng chemist, pwede na din gawin ng biochemist. So, bukod sa mga food industry, I know someone na nag-work sa parang yung San Pedro, yung distillery sa Laguna. He does quality control and large-scale production ng mga craft beer. Tapos may kilala din ako na yun, nagwo-work sa PNP. Nung nalaman nila na biochemistry major siya and and licensed chemist na din, pina-work siya sa DNA division ng PNP. So more of forensics na din yung line of work niya. I also have a friend na nag-work na din sa RITM. So parang more of research and development talaga siya. So more of innovation and invention and improvement ng mga products and stuff. Tapos may food industry din. And madaming options yung biochemistry. Pero yung advice lang talaga nila is to take either RCH or yung Chemtech. Kasi mahihirapan talaga if if hindi ko naman gusto yung mag-medicine or ayoko ng research. So anong option for me, 'di ba? So yun yung advice, yung biggest advice talaga nila is to take the chem boards. Tapos from there you can spearhead na mag-industry ka or mag-pharmaceuticals ka. And for the academe yun, so you'll have to go through MS PhD degree. So yung advantage naman yun is parang you get to work as a research assistant, but at the same time you get to study. So yung good thing about it that daw is parang you get to apply what you've learned. So yun yung gusto nila sa RAMS na setup. And pag MS ka na, you get to be licensed to teach college students yung mga laboratory techniques kasi yun nga MS graduate ka na. So madami din namang options yung biochemistry. Kaso mahirap lang kasi wala kaming parang we don't have like a biochemistry licensure exam in itself. So nagsi-switch talaga kami to chemistry na boards. Pero after that, when they know, yung mga bosses ng mga klase ko, when they know na may molecular bio sila na background, they get to be in like mga DNA department ng PNP. And may kaklase ako who is studying MS sa Hong Kong. So yung field niya naman is parang biochemistry in microorganisms. So maraming opportunities, hindi lang medicine and academe in terms of biochemistry. Ayun.
Can I add? Try. Nakamute
Yes,
ka.
nakamute ako. Yes, Rose, what else?
Okay. I-add ko lang kasi mention din naman ni Steph, pati ni Annie yung sa RCH, yung pagiging registered chemist. Meron kasing chem law na as in nai-implement na siya ngayon. So parang it will secure jobs for chemists kasi for industries, registered chemists or chemtechs lang yung allowed to do chemical analysis sa mga labs nila. So ayun, isang advantage din ng licensure exam.
Yes, so yun nga. Kaya nga rin sabi nga ni Ann, di ba, ang daming suggestion talaga ng mga biochem graduates would be to take yung licensure for chemistry. And my next question actually, nasagot na ni Miss Ann, so I'm just gonna ask Steph, would you recommend na mag-proceed yung students to MS Chemistry after graduating from undergrad?
Ayun, that's actually a good question, no? If you're really going into MS or PhD. It depends on your purpose then, no? Kung ano ba talaga yung track na gusto mong kuhanin. In the industry, having MS or PhD is an advantage here in the Philippines, but it's not really required. But technically, if you have a graduate course na natapos, it's a promotion or it's a salary increase to you. Also, of course, pati yung responsibilities and position mo tataas din. In a shorter period of time. Kasi sometimes yung pag-aaral ng MS or PhD, it depends kung nasa ang industry ka eh. If you're in a very specific industry that doesn't really need that much expertise and can be learned if you have, let's say, a longer exposure to the industry itself, hindi mo na kailangan mag-MS. Tataas pa din yung position mo kasi you're learning through the process while being with them. In the academe, it's a must. No, if you really want to pursue academe or research, it's really important for you to have enough knowledge or get enough background to be able to, let's say, after getting your MS or PhD, you're a stronger person. You're a more defined person in terms of your expertise. But it should be something that should be thought really carefully to begin with kasi MS and PhD is an educational commitment. It's a really difficult time, especially for younger person to take MS and PhD kasi I'm telling you guys, it's stressful in a lot of different ways. If your goal is really to stay in the academe or to, let's say, establish your own laboratory for research purposes, mas marami kayong matututunan if you're taking MS or PhD. If you're talking about something going abroad, let's say if you really want to do your job abroad, MS and PhD for chemistry is a requirement. You won't be able to get or to secure any job, any high-paying job, no, in abroad kapag wala kang MS or PhD. And it depends also in the industry you're working with. Kasi kung multinational naman yung industry na pinagtatrabahuhan mo, if they have some, let's say they have agencies abroad, pwede ka nilang ilipat doon. But if you're starting anew, for example, you just really want to go outside of the Philippines and start a career there, it's really a big advantage to have an MS or PhD. Kaya yung iba dito, yung ibang chemists, before they go outside or they go abroad, they really need to have the MS or the PhD degree. Ayan.
Okay, so, okay, I didn't know that actually before. So, magandang na na-point out natin na if you're considering, kasi ang dami rin na nagtatanong na, paano po yung opportunity in terms paglabas ng country? So, it's nice to point out na kahit graduate ka ng bachelor's degree dito sa Philippines, iba pa rin kapag nag-proceed ka to MS if you want to pursue the same na career. So, pagdating sa bio, Lexi, would you recommend proceeding to BS Bio immediately after finishing undergrad? Hello?
Ako kasi I directly went to MS after graduating. Pero upon asking my colleagues, sabi nila, like parang, it will really take time for you to think about it. Kasi nga, as what Sir Santiago said, na it's a commitment. Imagine when you're doing research, 5 years na siguro ang minimum or 3 years ang minimum. Lucky ka na if your research is funded talaga. And then when you do research, when you go to MS kasi, you have a lot of things to consider, like money. Alam mo, mahal mag-aral talaga. So pag wala kang scholarship, mahirap siya. Like, nagko-contemplate ka na, graduate na ako, pwede na ako mag-work sa ibang industries, nakakuha ng sweldo, kaysa mag-MS pa ako na magbabayad pa ako for school again and all. Pero with that kasi, MS is a learning process. Parang additional knowledge for you. And I mean kasi, when it comes kasi ako ecological track, maraming na-open sa akin na opportunities to study about. Like, dito sa field na to kasi wala pang nag-aaral, it's a chance for you to grow there, to pioneer on that kind of field, ganyan. So, doon din yung isang motivation for me to go directly to MS. Kasi nga, baka may iba pang makakuha ng idea na yon, ganon. Tsaka minsan ka lang din makakuha ng drive to go directly to MS. So, why not grab the chance? It depends on the person talaga. So, yun. Actually, hindi ko nasagot yung question kung need ba nila directly or hindi. Depende talaga sa tao. Yun.
Gaya nga na sinabi mo, Lexi, na magastos talaga siya. So you really have to take into account yung part na kaya bang ma-sustain, di ba? Actually, back nung kakatapos ng isa kong friend ng undergrad, sabi niya sa akin, uy, magme-med ka din pala. And syempre yung med is like another form ng grad studies. Na sabi ko, uy, magme-med ka din pala. I didn't know. Tapos kasi nga, nag-gap year muna siya. Then isa sa mga sinabi talaga, kasi pinag-usapan pa talaga namin ng parents ko. So it's really one thing na, especially if hindi ka mag-work after undergrad, you have to really talk to your parents about it. Kasi there are scholarships, yes, pero hindi mo talaga alam, di ba, kung anong pwede mangyari. So it's good na nakakapag-converse ka dito with people around you. Okay, and at the same time, yun nga, sa sarili mo, you really have to decide kung it's something na kayang masustain. So for our guests from now nag-proceed to med school, would you recommend, ikaw po ba, nag-continue ka ba agad or nag-proceed ka ba agad to med school? And would you recommend yung after graduating from college, diretso ng med school? Anne?
Ako ba? So, nagtanong ako sa mga kaklase ko. If yun, sa industry yun. So, for me, yes, nag-proceed ako agad kasi andun na yung momentum na nag-aaral ka. So, why stop there? And siguro fortunate ako na hindi ako parang I didn't have to work muna for me to be in a well-educated na system. So, sa akin, kasi state U ako nag-medicine proper. So, talaga, bawas talaga sa gastos. Like, imagine, figures 20,000 lang per sem. First year yun. So, ang laki, tapos wala pa akong board and lodging kasi nasa bahay lang ako. So, it was a big help to grab the momentum while parang habang kakatapos mo lang mag-aral ng undergrad. So, diniretso ko na siya. But I have friends na parang nag-off din for a while. May friend ako na parang nag-work pa siya sa Nestle. Nag-work pa siya to earn for her studies. Pero, yun nga, habang nag-work siya, hindi siya nawalan ng parang passion. Kasi parang na-realize niya, habang nag-work siya sa Nestle, parang this is not where I want to be. So, it's a matter of if you really want to pursue and to heal people, and if you really want to further your knowledge and your expertise, I think that's an enough drive for you to pursue yung sa medicine. So, sa akin naman, kasi nagtanong ako sa mga kaklase ko if proceeding to MS from BS Chem, Biochem to MS is advisable. Sabi nila, yun nga, same lang din sa sinabi ng everyone na parang it depends on the circumstance. Kasi ang daming factors din i-consider yun yung parang may mga kaklase ako na nag-RA while kumukuha ng MS. So parang nag-offload sila ng mga units nila sa MS. So na-extend yung time nila habang nag-MS sila kasi they had to earn while studying. So it took them like, a minimum of 5 years kasi nakakat yung amount of units nila na kukunin nila for that sem. So as they cut off yung mga units, parang tinatamad sila. So it's a matter of commitment and persistence into something that you really want. So yun, it's all about what your passion is, how committed you are to get into your passion. Tama naman yung mga
Yeah, okay. Salamat, Ann. Kevs, ikaw, I know nag-proceed ka rin directly to med school, tama ba? So, ikaw, do you think nakatulong siya na dumiretso ka agad or you wish na nag-try ka pa, nag-venture ka sa different industries na pwedeng mapasok ng biograd?
Actually, for me kasi, it's really individualized. Very personal siya na journey for you kung ano yung career path or trajectory na pupuntahan mo. So, for me kasi, decidido na talaga ako na magdodoktor ako. So, nag-proceed ako immediately. I guess, yun nga, sabi rin na there are a lot of factors to consider din. Financially, sobrang draining niya, especially if you are at a private institution. Sa amin kasi, umabot 6 figures yung tuition namin per sem. So it's it's really good if you talk about it with your parents muna and kung sino man yung mga financer nyo sa academic life nyo, kumbaga. So for me, actually, ako pinursue ko siya agad kasi I didn't want to break the momentum din as well na tuloy-tuloy yung pag-aaral. So, and wala akong maisip na other thing na gagawin rather than proceed to med school talaga.
Kumbaga, wala ka namang field na gustong i-try aside from proceeding to med school.
Yeah.
So, eto, dalawa tong ginawa. Ito si Rosal naman. She actually worked as a research associate before proceeding sa med school, just like sinabi ko kanina. And hanggang ngayon, hustler pa rin talaga yung si Rosal kahit nasa med school. So, can you share to us kung bakit nag-work ka muna or paano ito nakatulong bago ka mag-proceed sa med school? And kumusta ang pagiging woman habang nagme-med school? Can you share your experiences to us, Rose?
Okay, so, yung nangyari kasi, pag-graduate namin ng June, I think yung boards was September. So, parang gusto ko muna magpahinga. Well, mag-review rin naman ako for board. So, sabi ko, pahinga na lang muna ako. Next school year na ako. Tapos, syempre, ayun nga, alam naman natin sobrang medyo mahal talaga yung med school. Gusto ko na rin i-take yung opportunity makapag-ipon kahit konti. So, ayun. So, before mag-med, nag-boards ako, tapos nagtrabaho ako habang inaantay yung next na school year. So, katulad ng sinabi ni Anne, marami akong yung mga tita ko, parang in-advise din nila sa akin na parang, bakit hindi ka pa mag-proceed sa med school? Baka ma-shift yung goal mo, parang baka ma-realize kong ayoko na mag-med. Pero katulad nga ng sinabi ni Anne, feeling ko kasi kung gusto mo talaga tsaka yun yung passion mo, hindi mawawala yun hindi yun mawawala as your goal. So kahit nag-research ako, alam ko sa self ko na gusto ko talaga mag-doktor. So, ayun. Tapos yung pagiging businesswoman naman ngayon, medyo mahirap kasi talaga yung added burden sa med school yung finances sinabi naman yun ng lahat ng nagme-med ngayon. So siguro, tinatry ko lang na i-lessen yung burden for my family. Kaya ginagawa ko to. So, hindi ko rin siya ma-advise talaga kasi parang ang hirap dalawa yung focus mo. Pero yung nangyari kasi sa akin, parang kinailangan Tapos parang nasanay na ako na naging part na siya ng system ko. So, ayun, parang alamin mo lang yung priorities mo talaga na for example, may exam ka, syempre priority mo mag-aral. Pero kung yung medyo familiar ka naman sa topic or something na medyo feeling mo madali lang yung quiz, parang okay lang na mag-business ka muna sa side. So, ayun siguro, know your priorities tsaka discipline din talaga.
From our businesswoman med student, Rosel. Diba? Yeah, super idol ko to si Rosel dahil sa, napagsasabay-sabay niya yung mga ganyan. Now, I'm gonna talk to Sir Steven ulit na, Sir, ano yung opportunities pagdating sa academe? And ano yung masasabi mong pros and cons kapag nasa academe ka na after graduating college?
Ayun, after graduate ko ng college, I immediately enter the academe while doing masters, no? So, yun yung parang first time ko magturo. I'm still too young, then my students are also too young. So medyo magkakaedaran lang kami. I think one main advantage of it is that I'm in the state university and it's a government owned institution. Usually, these government institutions have high initial salary. So mataas talaga agad yung magiging entry level mo. And in UP, it depends on your honor as well kung gaano kalaki yung magiging salary mo. So if you're really aiming for something that's yung medyo okay na yung salary or compensation, I advise for those who are graduates of BS Chemistry na i-aim yung mga government institutions. Well, this is almost true for all sciences naman kasi we know that yun, maraming benefits and compensation sa government. Second, I think ang advantage sa academe is that you get to build your connection. Not just in the academe but also in the research. No, I actually believe that when you're doing grad studies, MS and PhD, exposure is the key. Like you really need to be connected to right people at the right time to be able to succeed, let's say, in whatever field you're trying to do. So for those who are interested, let's say in the academe, hindi naman it's actually your job to be connected to others as well. So kung if you're in the same research group or if you're in the same interest, you need to go to other sciences. You need to mingle with other people to be able to expand your connection. And sooner or later, this will give you a lot of opportunities, no? Marami kang makakasalubong along the way na magbibigay sa'yo ng opportunities. I really, what else? If you're really much afraid to be in the academe, no? Baka kasi yung iba takot mag-academe, like, kasi kakausap ka ng tao o kaya kakausapin mo yung estudyante mo. I think that's something you can develop along the way, right? Parang it's really good thing to, ako kasi passion ko talaga mag-share ng information, like mag-transfer ng knowledge to other and to inspire others. That's my main goal talaga. It's more on the education side. So yun talaga yung ginawa ko after. So wala na akong inisip pa na panahon. And if you're in UP, by the way, tapos nag-take ka ng pagiging instructor agad-agad, your graduate studies is free. So libre na yung MS mo and PhD mo as long as you finish it in the time na pinag-usapan nun yung matapos.
So, sir, in relation to that, kasi gaya nga ng sinabi mo, passion mo talaga yung pag-share ng knowledge. One of the reasons why you're in the academe. Can you share to us your projects on Pueblo Science Philippines and Project Cup 9? Can you please talk about that?
Ayan, yung Project Cup 9 is actually an Institute of Chemistry-based program. So ito yung mga pinapagawa ng mga instructors ng NSTP. Ito yung project nila actually. Kung saan we invite different students, high school students actually. So ito yung mga incoming college students to go into our university and experience, let's say, kung ano yung mga pwede namin i-offer na services, ano yung mga labs na ginagawa namin in the institute. Tapos it's a whole day activity, so they are gonna do experiments in the institute. Tapos after in the afternoon they'll be itutour sila sa loob ng research facility namin para ma-expose sila kung ano ba yung mga different researches na ginagawa, ano yung mga different science advancements na meron na as of the moment. So naniniwala din kasi yung institute na through exposure to these young people, they're gonna get the feel on how do really scientists work, let's say in the academe or in the university setting. On the other hand, yung Pueblo Science, it's a Toronto-based organization. So it's an offshoot of Pueblo Science that's based on Canada. What we do actually is we go around the country and visit, let's say, visit areas na mahihirapan silang mag-experiment, or nahihirapan silang matuto ng science, mainly because the reasons are walang mga materials, hindi akma yung experiment na to. But we mainly believe that each and every experiment should be unique and regionalized to a certain area. Kasi hindi naman lahat talaga ng experiments ay kaya mong gawin in your area, but you can substitute, let's say, a more contextualized experiment. So, hindi mo alam yung mga plants mo pala sa backyard mo ay pwedeng gamitin, let's say, as an indicator. But you just don't know na yun pala talaga yung purpose niya. Mainly because you're being stuck with a certain concept or a certain experiment that you do every time. So yun yung main purpose ng Pueblo Science. So we go around the country. We wanted to regionalize science, if that's the correct term. We also do it in UP. So may mga projects din yung UP na ganun. I think the farthest I went to is Tawi-Tawi. So we went to Tawi-Tawi, tapos ayun, we maraming mga animals, plants doon na hindi namin alam. Mainly because hindi naman secluded yung area. Tapos mas malapit siya sa Malaysia compared sa Philippines. So may mga ganong contexts na pwede nating gawin sa science. As of the moment, hindi namin pwedeng gawin yon. Hindi kami pwedeng lumibot sa Philippines due to pandemic. So we launched this Barrio Agham. So it's a project. In Facebook, guys, you may check Pueblo Science Philippines. So there we post videos that we can do inside our houses or in our homes to stimulate science learning or STEM learning. At the same time, we can still achieve our mission on educating everyone in terms of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Wow, super thank you for that, sir. Kasi actually, may kausapin ako na colleague one time, we were talking about that, kung parang paano natin ma-regionalize or paano natin magagawa that these experiments that we see online or in books that we get from abroad, na ma-incorporate natin kung ano lang yung meron tayo, kung ano yung meron sa public schools natin. Kasi as much as we want na lahat ng high schools natin, elementary schools would have this ano tawag dito, may mga laboratories, etc. Wala tayo nun. So, hanggang wala pa, we really need to make something na hindi ma-inhibit or hindi matitigil yung pag-aral ng mga estudyante. Okay? Kumbaga na magagawa din natin. So, wow, so guys, really check out Pueblo Science Philippines and yung Project Cup na yan, lalo na for high school students. Select students nga lang yung nakakapunta dito, but maybe your school will be next na mako-consider. So, in relation to that, Lexi, can we talk about your current na research na ginagawa? Kasi di ba you're in the research na field. So, can you share your experiences sa amin pagdating sa researches na nagawa mo or projects na nakasama ka?
Actually, madami ng projects. Kasi under kasi ako sa Dean ng College of Science ng UST. So, the Dean is my advisor, which is, he's very good in getting funding for research. Yeah. And he's actually encouraging a lot of yung mga may gustong mag-bio and kahit chemistry and microbio, he's encouraging them to go to masters after graduating. Kasi nga, we are in need of researchers talaga. There are a lot of funding opportunities. Ang kulang lang talaga is yung researchers. And with an MS degree, my opportunity ka to go abroad then with collaborations with yung sa project ko ay we had a collaboration with Japanese school, Kyoto University. We also have basta madaming network connections around the world with that. And right now, yung ginagawa ko kasi is a collaboration with Mindanao State University, which is in General Santos. And then recently kasi maraming fish kills dun sa lake na kung saan nagproproduce ng fishes for the community. So they collaborated with us. I'm doing the zooplankton component from Yasid, and then another researcher from UP then, he's also a partner, a collaborator for that project. Hand in hand kami, we also have chemistry scientists. They also work on the physical chemistry of the lake. And then, hindi lang kasi bio ang need for a project. Marami talaga, hand in hand. We also have engineering students who help us do the bathymetry of the lake. Sobrang, it should be hand in hand talaga when it comes to projects. So, yun.
So I agree sa sinabi ni Lexi na what's nice pagdating sa research is that maliban sa marami kang makikilala, sobrang dami mong matututunan kasi when you go into a project, kunwari, there's a certain project na environmental engineering talaga yung focus niya. So it's under the environmental engineering na department. Pero yung team nyo is composed of different people. Magugulat kayo meron from social work. Kasi syempre, hindi naman pwede na yung ginagawa natin or yung ginagawa sa research, para saan, di ba? It's for the community. So, dyan papasok yung mga social workers natin kasi sila yung nag-bridge between the technical side and then dun sa community. So, madami ka talaga matututunan. May project sa environmental engineering na may mga envi-eng, pero may mga civil engineers. At the same time, meron ding mechanical engineers at iisang project lang to, isang product lang to. So, ayun, kagaya din nga sabi ni Steven kanina na you need to make connections talaga. Di ba? Kaya nga sabi rin ni Lexi siya, yung advisor niya. So, paswertihan din sometimes or effort din to actually get to know people, right people nga at the right time. Kasi for Lexi, madami siyang opportunity kasi yung advisor niya is the Dean of College of Science in UST. So, nagiging part siya ng different projects. Kaya kasi sinabi ko, magkwento ka naman about one of your projects. Ang dami, di ba? Ang dami niya.
Actually, yung advisor namin, he's letting us do it independently. So, pakapalan kami ng mukha when it comes to yung mga, conference, to talk to, higher ups, like mga seniors and ganyan. Guts lang talaga to get fundings.
Ayun. So, very ironic to kasi hindi ko alam kung same with others, pero stereotype din ng mga bata nga, do I have to be really smart para mapunta ako sa research? Kailangan ba nerdy ako? Kailangan ba gusto ko lang sa
No.
laboratory? Ayun, nakikita nyo. Sila na mismo nagsasabi, you have to talk to a lot of people, kailangan mo mag-interact, etc.
Ano lang siguro, ang tip lang siguro is you have to be wise, like streetwise. Kasi hindi naman everything will go as planned eh. Like parang
That's
you have,
true.
may eureka moments na may something na hindi nangyari as planned. You really have to think about it kung paano i-resolve. Yan.
Kumbaga, more than sa eureka moments, mas marami yung, oh my gosh, ano yung
Yeah.
ginawa ko? Ay, hindi nag-work yung sinulad ko sa pre-lab. Okay, so lahat ng mga bagay na may experience nyo when you consider pursuing research. Sir Steven, may ma-add ka ba pagdating sa opportunities or career pagdating sa research, especially sa context ng Philippines?
Ayun, sa UP, the first time you're gonna be doing research is during your undergrad thesis, no? So in our institute, we do it alone. So mag-isa ka lang talaga sa thesis mo under the supervision of your advisors, of course, and some of the MS students in the lab that you're into. I think in other schools they do it by pair, but technically you need to do research. Ang maganda sa mga curriculum natin ngayon, no, kahit sa ang school, they actually wanted you to be exposed. Let's say first in research in your undergrad thesis, second in industry when you're doing your OJT. So and academe siguro when you're studying na during the course. So what I actually wanted the chemistry students to think about while they're under their while studying the course is that think about it kung saan sila mas natuwa, no? Kung saan sila mas naging connected. Is it in the research, doing their undergrad thesis? Is it in the academe when they're studying? Or is it in the, let's say, in the industry when they're doing the OJT? Ayun. So in terms of research, here in the Philippines, maraming opportunities, no? And I might say na sobrang complex na ng connections ng mga research labs here in the Philippines. So, hindi lang mga UP yung nakikinabang, like they're really connected, let's say, to UST, to DLSU. So, just ask your advisor, no, kung ano ba talaga yung gusto mong gawin, sabihin mo na ito yung gusto mong gawin, then most likely they have connections na kaya ka nilang i-refer doon sa mga taong yon. A lot of students are actually afraid of going into research because one, it's independent research work. So parang in the end, ikaw lang at ikaw ang gagawa ng research na yon. But at the same time, you'll be able to develop, no, kung paano mo mapapalakas yung sarili mo in terms of research. I think the skills needed for this para sa mga nagbabalak mag-research should be ingenuity. Kailangan ingenious ka sa mga ginagawa mo. Hindi pwedeng by the book ka most of the time. Kasi I'm telling you guys, this is research. And research is something new. So, not everything really works as planned. Mainly because it's research, no? We're in the frontiers of research. So, hindi talaga lahat mag-work. But it doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. And it doesn't mean it's a failure. So, it means you need to tweak some things to be able to produce whatever you wanted to. Or, more likely, whatever you are actually hypothesizing to is the one that's incorrect. So there are times that we need to adjust regarding our methodologies. Another skill or quality I think that is needed in research is perseverance, especially in biochemistry. I think Anne will be able to relate to me here. Parang sobrang tatagal ng experiments. It will really take one day. Like you're just there waiting for it, and what if hindi pa siya nag-work? So I think you need to also be psychologically and emotionally prepared as much as financially, of course. Although a lot of scholarships are out there, you need to be resilient. Maraming failures sa research, but that's what makes research very exciting. Like you really don't know what's right and what's wrong, and
I agree.
you're really the one, especially for the ones pioneering the research. You're the ones who really know what to do kasi ikaw yung nagsimula nun. And then you're also the ones who can actually identify what's wrong and what's to be done. Ayun.
Ayun. So, gaya nga ng sinabi din ni Lexi kanina, di ba? Like, marami talagang hindi mo hindi masusunod kung anong pinaplano mo, kung anong nasa pre-lab mo, pwedeng magbago yan bigla kahit inayos mo pa yun na mabuti. Kasi, again, that's the research ka. You're there to learn, you're there to figure out kung ano yung nangyayari. So, yun lang actually ang questions ko for today, but I have more questions sa ating viewers. So, for bio graduates, may tanong dito, kumusta ang internship for bio? If nag-internship kayo and nahirapan ba kayo maghanap? Kasi parang I think most nga kasi is nasa government na mga job. And then unlike Kem, very obvious yung mga pwede mong puntahang internships, di ba? So, Lexi, nag-internship ka ba? Required ba sa UST?
Sa curriculum kasi namin walang internship eh. Like, thesis lang talaga yung experience-based namin na ano.
Yun ay parang pinaka-exposure sa real na real
Yeah.
job. Parang ganun, kumbaga. Actually, same din with UP. Most ng courses, hindi.
Pero I think they're changing the curriculum to have an internship.
Ayun. So, sa mga papasok, pwede mo nyo ma-experience. Especially ngayon na meron ng strands. May specialization na kumbaga yung buyer, right? So, how about Kev?
Yeah.
Nag-internship ba kayo? Required ba sa curriculum?
Yes. Kev?
Kev?
Ayun, yes, required siya sa curriculum. So, sa UP, you'll be doing your internship during summer. So, ang masaya lang dun sa batch natin, it's the time of transition from, I think that's the time of transition from June to August.
Yes, so mahaba.
Tapos, yung internship ko nun is paid. So, I was doing internship in San Miguel, and it was a paid internship. Then, I extended my internship just because wala naman akong gagawin. Ayun, so, masaya yung internship, guys. It's really one way to know whether you really like the industry or not. Ako kasi, when I'm doing the internship, I was there from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. just inside the lab. So I'm not really going out. Nandun na rin kasi yung cafeteria, so hindi nakalalabas ng building. So I'm just saying, pagpasok ko, wala pang araw. Paglabas ko, lulubog na yung araw. So hindi na ako nasisikatan ng araw during the internship. But it's fun kasi if you really look for companies offering really good internship, they will actually allow you to go from one division to the other, experiencing all the stuff in their company, and then making you or giving you a more detailed, let's say, decision kung ano man yung gagawin mo in your life sooner or later.
Okay. Rose, may ma-add ka ba doon?
Ayun. Katulad lang nung sinabi ni Steph na parang glimpse talaga siya ng life sa industry. Ako naman, nag-internship ako sa napunta ako sa oil, gas, chemicals, and division na part ng isang laboratory. So, ayun, makikita mo kung paano nag-work yung industry, kung gusto mo ba pumunta doon, tsaka ayun, ma-open ka na, ito pala yung mga iba pang opportunities, at tsaka maraming possibilities pa lang pwedeng puntahan ng isang chem graduate.
Okay, so how about for bio again? Kevin, nag-internship ba kayo or required ba? Ay, sorry.
It wasn't part of the curriculum of biology sa UP Visayas. Yung the most experience we had with application was yung field bio lang talaga. And of course, may thesis din kami at the same time. Pero internship,
not required. But you have the option to, syempre, always may option to actually. May mga kilala ka bang nag-internship just for the sake of parang exposure?
No, not all actually.
No, it's not really that recommended. Parang hindi nyo practice, kumbaga.
Hindi talaga.
Okay. So how about for Biochem, Ann? May required ba kayong internship and how was it if meron?
Ayun, so yes, we have actually. So parang transition siya from second year to third year. So ako, I was fortunate enough na maka-internship ako sa crime lab sa Region 6. So yung nangyari sa akin, parang yung ginagawa namin is parang paraffin test and yung drug test ba? So parang anong tawag nun? Chromatography yun eh. So yun yung ginagawa ko aside from the paraffin test. So apart from that, may mga kaklase ako na nag-internship abroad like sa Thailand. Nakalimutan ko yung affiliation niya. So apart from that, yung sa experience ko naman, nagka-gun shooting range experience ako since dun ako sa PNP. So it's a good experience in a way na parang namulat ako na hindi lang pala sa research or sa academe, you can go to forensics. Kasi trip ko talaga yung forensics nung mga around those times. So, nung nag-open yung opportunity na pwede ako mag-internship sa crime lab, ginrab ko na. So, it's a fun experience.
So actually, that's my follow-up question. Kasi may nagtatanong kanina na yung forensics ba part ng curriculum ng biochem in UST? Was it a part? Hindi naman.
Hindi siya part, hindi siya per se, pero maraming ini-invite kasi, nagsi-start kasi sa amin na nag-i-invite sila ng mga professors from Japan na nagde-discuss about forensics. So, parang nag-open na din siya ng opportunity from that day, from parang that year onwards na i-specialize, kumbaga, yung curriculum ng biochemistry. So, yung nabalitaan ko from my classmate is by third year daw, parang may branches na din. So, if you want to go into medicine, na parang biochemistry as a pre-medicine, ayun, you can go through that na parang strand, quote-unquote. Tapos meron na ding industry. And I'm not sure if merong forensics na part, pero marami na kaming na-invite na mga speakers who are into forensic science. So, isa na din yun na na-open na din. And not to mention na may kaklase ako na nag-work talaga under the DNA division ng PNP sa NCR. So, if you want talaga, there's pwede talaga. Yes.
So actually, same din yung question when it comes to bio and chemistry. Pero tama ba from our usapan kanina na walang forensic subject per se pagdating sa bio na curriculum and chem na curriculum? Correct me if I'm wrong, pero it's something na pwedeng nyong i-consider after graduating. Okay, kasi may nagtarog sa atin. Siguro
I think I can add something to that.
Yes, sir.
Marami din nagtatanong kasi sa akin yan before when I was doing career orientations, no, when I was still an instructor back then. So marami mga high school students na talagang interested sa forensic science, no. In chemistry, I think kapag BS Chem graduate ka na and may license ka na, PNP can hire you already as a forensic scientist. Pero may trainings before. So ito yung tinatawag sa PNP na lateral hiring. Like you're not from the ranks, but you'll be hired outside tapos ipapasok ka nila doon sa ranking system nila. Yun, may mga trainings lang and you'll be based in the crime laboratory. In terms of the subjects, in UP, we don't really have forensic science as a major subject in chemistry. So but a lot of
yun nga, habang nag-work,
a lot of the subjects in forensic science are a bit of biochemistry, right? A bit of biology. So they'll be taken din naman as well. But if you really want to pursue, like, let's say, a BS in forensic science, there is one in University of Baguio, if you're near to it. And there's also one in criminology schools. So yung mga Philippine Criminology School, they offer BS in forensic science.
Ayun, so may mga may schools talaga na nag-o-offer ng BS Forensics if you really want to pursue that. Or pwede rin naman, you can opt to take biochem, chemistry, or mga related courses where you can work afterwards as forensic scientist. So, another question here for our bio graduates. Sige, I'm not sure if they did part-time work, but may nagtatanong lang, ano po ba ang pwedeng i-part-time job for BS Bio undergrad? Anyone? Meron kayang may... Sige, I think I will mag-ano ako dito. Now, when it comes to part-time ng undergrad, marami ka namang options eh. There's always, I think pinaka-convenient would be student assistant ka sa school mo. Kasi you're there. You don't need especially if you're from Metro Manila, ang hirap mag-travel. So, ako, I would say, kung if you want to work while studying, consider mo maging student assistant sa school mo. Some professors, naghahanap yan sila ng student assistant who would parang not really check Kasi may mga certain subjects na grabe yung load pagdating sa kailangan i-check na papers. So, may iba na kapag hire ka na, you can be hired as a student assistant, mga ganun. So, I guess yun yung pinaka convenient na part-time job kasi nasa school ka na. May ma-add ba yung other guests natin pagdating dito?
I think pwede din silang mag-tutor, no?
Yes.
So if you have friends or let's say anak ng kaibigan nyo, ng mga kakilala nyo that would need help, let's say in biology or in chemistry, mostly math, but I think you can do math as well, no? Kasi basic math lang din naman yun. You can also do tutor. May mga online tutor platforms then if you wanna try, no? They're open for some students as well. And mga yon, some kind of stuff like that.
So marami naman, pero kung if you really want yung related, kunwari sa BS Bio, ako on top of my head, wala talaga ako maisip na makukuha mo ng job while you are studying. Kasi one thing is, nag-aaral ka pa eh. So I don't think you will be really hard to do a job na sobrang related to that. Pero marami namang opportunities for a part-time job habang nag-aaral. So, sobrang overtime na natin kasi ang sarap kakwentuhan ng guests natin as usual. So, but before we end siguro, last question na lang o kaya sort of a tip for our students. What's something na sana alam mo before you pursue this course? Who wants to start? Sige, Anne, alphabetical.
One thing na siguro na sana nalaman ko before ako pumasok sa biochemistry is not literally biology and chemistry na to combine. Parang it's a separate world pa rin na parang hindi siya, for me, hindi siya yung inisip ng tao na it's a mixture. Pero parang yung biochemistry kasi is more of dealing with what's happening like inside, tapos parang may mga enzymes and stuff. So parang minsan kasi hindi yun ma-describe ng chemistry alone. So for me, I wish I knew that a lot sooner para at least ma-brace ko yung self ko na hindi pala siya like it's not as what it seems na parang inisip nila ganun. So, parang heads up lang. Kasi mahirap talaga siya.
Huwag mo namang i-discourage yung mga
Hindi naman.
Siyempre, lahat naman ng course is mahirap. Kaya pinag-aaralan. So, yes. Kevin, ano naman ang sana alam mo bago mo pinasok ang BS Bio? Unmute, sir.
Well, first of all, I think sana before ako nag-go into college talaga, like may proper orientation sa mga courses na available. Kasi ako talaga, at that point, medyo lost din ako kasi when I asked my parents, di rin nila alam. So parang walang proper source of information na parang expounding on courses na I would be interested in. And I guess, going back, sana alam ko na sobrang research heavy yung biology. Kasi ako, although I love research naman talaga, kasi nga it's basically the bread and butter of sciences naman talaga. Parang it's a heavy thing for me to partake talaga yung research.
Kumbaga, considering na you really want to be a doctor, parang yung curriculum ng bio is really geared towards research and academic, kumbaga.
Yes, okay. Definitely.
So, how about you, Lex? Ano yung sana alam mo bago ka nag-BS Bio?
Actually, same lang with Kevin. Na sana oriented talaga before going to college. Para naman, parang we know what to expect from it. Pero with that kasi, hindi naman talaga lahat lalabas. As you go along pa siya lalabas eh. So, yun. Wala na akong ma-add actually.
So, actually, nag-workout din naman sa'yo kasi right now, you're working sa research na field, right? So, it's something na
Yeah.
nag-enjoy mo naman apparently. So, ayan. How about for you, Rosel? Kung may alam ka sana about chem, especially as a pre-med course, kasi alam ko rin, we're friends from high school and I know na mag-proceed ka rin talaga sa medicine, right? So, ano sanang alam mo about chem bago ka nag-take ng BS Chemistry?
Ayun, katulad din ng sinabi talaga nila, kailangan talaga ng career orientation. Kasi parang, katulad ko, interested ako sa chem. Pero college na ako nung nalaman ko na may mga parang better options pa pala. Kung sure na ako na magme-med ako, na pwedeng pre-med na chem-heavy din siya na subjects. So that would work for me din, di ba? Pero ayun, siguro ngayon sa chem naman, nasabi ko na kanina yung na-shock ako na ang dami-dami pa palang fields under chemistry. Kasi parang from high school talaga, parang yung superficial lang yung alam mo, tapos parang yun na yun eh, akala mo i-expound lang. Tapos pagdating ng college, magugulat ka, sobrang dami talaga. So ayun siguro yung sana alam ko.
Yan, kasi ito alam ko si Rosel. So, question ko na lang din sa'yo. Kasi napapansin ko, ang dami talagang students who would say, chem daw, magandang pre-med. Pero iba kasing naririnig ko sa friends ko. So, ikaw ba personally, do you regret taking chemistry considering na magme-med school ka and hindi ka naman magpa-practice talaga as a chemist, kumbaga?
Okay. Siguro kasi, I think depende siya sa tao. Kasi for me, ako yung tao na, pinag-isipan ko din to na parang, ayoko na bound ako sa hospital. Ayoko na parang magde-define sa akin is yung hospital lang. Parang ganun, parang gusto ko na may kaya akong gawin aside from the hospital. So kung ganun ka rin mag-isip, I would recommend chem as a pre-med course. Pero kung yung as in 101% sure ka na talaga na magme-med ka, edi medyo hindi ko masyadong nire-recommend yung chem as a pre-med. Pero ayun, kasi ako nga as a person, gusto kong may magawa ako aside sa nasa hospital lang. And I think, siguro, isa rin kasi sa mga advice na parang nag-resonate sa akin is yung parang there is more to life beside medicine. Parang hindi lang doctor and others. Yung parang ganun. So, ayun, depende sa'yo kung ano talaga yung gusto mo or ano ka as a person.
May i-add lang ako.
Okay. Sige, Ann, bago tayo mag-proceed kay Christy.
Kasi
Steven, what else?
I have classmates from med school who are actually non-medical or
Yes,
like
madami
science
akong kilala.
related. Marami na may kaklase akong BSIT. So sobrang, alam mo yung range niya is sobrang different from what we are yung parang medical science talaga. So iba siya. And actually, may mga kaklase din ako na nagsasabi na sana hindi ako nag-medical related pre-med course para at least ma-widen yung horizons ko before ako pumasok sa medicine. Because, yun nga, sabi nga ni na Kevin, tsaka, yun, na parang, pag medicine kasi equal footing kayo regardless of what you took before. So, siguro yung masasabi ko lang sa IT friend ko, dumoble kayod siya, like doble, triple kayod siya. Pero he managed to graduate on time. So I guess it just really depends on your persistence kung gusto mo talaga mag-pursue ng medicine. Kasi mentally, psychologically, emotionally draining siya as a very parang malawak na field. Pero yun nga, if kaya din naman ng BSIT, ba't hindi mo kaya? So any pre-med course is okay lang.
Any course,
Any
kumbaga.
course, yeah. Kasi
So,
sa huli, perseverance mo din yung mag-iiral at saka yung passion mo towards doing something that you really want. So, yun.
So, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Kasi paulit-ulit ko din sinasabi sa kanila actually na, well, hindi ako nag-med school, pero if pipili ka ng pre-med or pipili ka ng undergraduate course, choose something na gusto mo talaga. Kasi ang dami for sure sa inyo na hindi naman sigurado. And baka naman biglang sobrang mamahalin mo yung course mo na yon. Kaya nga sabi ko always sa kanila din na parang piliin mo talaga yung interest mo kasi mahirap ang college. And choosing a course na gusto mo talaga will really help you survive college, kumbaga. So, last but not the least, Sir Steven, ano naman yung mapapayo mo sa students in general? Or pwede na rin, you can answer the question also na ano saring alam mo before ka nag-proceed to chemistry?
Ayun, on my end, I think yung gusto ko na meron dati na before ako mag-proceed sa chem was something like this, no? Dati kasi talaga hindi talaga pina-prioritize yung career orientation. As in wala talaga. I mean, some schools will visit high schools, but they're gonna promote their school, not the course, no? So walang career orientation in that aspect. And I'm really happy to know that there are such programs like this that actually aims to inform students regarding different careers that they can take. Especially, tapos ngayong session na to, especially in STEM. But I know that the channel doesn't discriminate each course, so it's really good to know that one. Um, this will also be a great time, no, to tell to other universities and schools na to take initiatives or actions, no, to not only promote their schools but also promote, let's say, which course do they need to take and how important it is for them to be able to know it before they will gonna be actually taking whatever they need to take in college. Um also other students should know that not all schools are born equal in terms of courses, no. Hindi naman porket sa UP ka, like, other
Yes.
courses are great. It's not like that. So you should also research on which centers of excellences, if you really want to excel in your field, no, you should also research on that kind of aspect. And there are a lot of education technology applications are also gearing towards that kind of filtering and applications on different schools as well. Ang mapapayo ko lang sa ating mga viewers and sa mga students na magte-take sooner or later at magde-decide ng kanilang course, just like what I always say, the heart wants what it wants. So if you really wanted to pursue something and you really have great heart and passion about it, no matter what happens along your way, no matter what obstacles you are into it, there will always be a will and a way. Now, if you think that you are actually unprivileged, no, parang wala kayo nung equal footing with regards, you need there are a lot of organizations that may extend help to you, and you may extend I mean you may also ask help for. So you're not alone in this kind of competition or in this kind of journey. So there are always someone out there who can actually guide you in the course of your, let's say, taking whatever course you want.
Maraming salamat for that, Steven. Yun lang, I really want to emphasize yung part na I know the world is unfair and really feel like disadvantage ako on certain things, disadvantage ako. I didn't go to a science high school, disadvantage ako kasi wala akong pera. Just know na, yun nga, at least may isang tao, kung hindi man isang organization, at least may isang tao na mahanap mo na tutulong sa'yo and susuporta sa'yo. So, guys, ako sobrang dami. Ako na naman yung marami natutunan. I really enjoyed these talks kasi nga, I always tell my friends, sabi ko, kinakabahan ako tuwing may mga talk na ganito kasi I'm not a public speaker. Hindi naman, I mean, madaldal ako, pero I'm not good at these things. But I took the initiative to do this kasi, yun nga, gaya ng mga sinasabi nyo, ang frustrating, di ba, na you're gonna choose a course, they expect you to write something on that paper, pero wala kang idea. I mean, madaling mag-Google, yes, pero we have these questions na hindi nasasagot ng Google, kumbaga. Or yung mga sagot nila is something na we want to hear. Parang sinasagot lang nila based sa something na gusto nating marinig or ina-expect nilang gustong marinig ng mga estudyante. But we need to hear the good and the bad sa mga courses so that nakakapag-decide tayo na maayos. So I really enjoyed this talk kasi sobrang well-versed ng ating mga guests. Just like sa mga guests natin previously. So always ko sinasabi, hindi ko alam kung nag-enjoy yung mga estudyante kasi 2 hours ngayon, more than 2 hours tayo na info paulit-ulit. I know paulit-ulit kami na choose the course you like, pag-passionate ka sa isang bagay. Kasi sobrang cliche pero sobrang totoo ng lahat ng to. So again, I really enjoyed this talk and I'm so happy. I know guys, sobrang busy yung lahat but I'm really thankful na nag-agree kayo to do this and ang dami naming natutunan. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge and sharing your experiences with us. So maraming salamat, and to everyone na nanood, I hope you learned a lot from this episode, and maraming salamat. Kita-kits tayo on our next Career Chikahan. Okay, in-end ko na yung stream.